mercy and justice in the Psalms and Proverbs. We're continuing our quest for the past 3 weeks to be more proactive in ministering the poor, the oppressed, and the forgotten. The Psalms and the Proverbs are practical and everyday wisdom that touches on every aspect of our life. So the question is, let's see how they bring together mercy and justice in harmony to our lives.
This lesson is interesting. I think that it has a good intent, but it may be easy to lose the point. We are basically reading through a few Psalms and some Proverbs at the end. And yes, it's about practicality and real life, real challenges and social issues that we struggle with. So while reading these Psalms and Proverbs, we should try to make them real to us. Think about the injustice and oppressions around you in your life.
And let's be honest, this life did not present itself quite fair from what I have lived through so far in my life. We're bombarded by complex chain of events. Also, we're surrounded by burdened relationships and even hardships when wanting to provide for our basic needs. The question for us isn't anymore, why is life unfair, or why do we suffer? We know it. Moreover, the question that we're asking is there somebody who can hear our voice of struggle and pain? And is there any hope of getting justice? Psalms serves as the answer. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble.
It's a struggle between what God wants us to be, the relationships and principles that He established for Israel, and the reality of the choices that we make, the paths that we take, the societies where we live in. Reading through these Psalms, my soul resonates with all these cries for God to do something. How many people today are crying the same songs? Do something, God.
Do you remember in the recent years when somebody treated you unfairly or applied some sort of pressure on you in your life? I'm more than sure that you have at least one story to tell. But how about if I ask you the question, do you remember in the recent years when you treated somebody unfairly and you have applied pressure on his or her life? The lesson touches on this idea through Psalm 82 that we might find ourselves being oppressed. However, in some other instances, we might be the oppressors. Likewise, we might find ourselves being victims of injustice, and other times, we might be the one committing and profiting from the injustice. No matter which position we are in, according to Psalm 82, God is concerned about us. If we are the victim, He wants to deliver us. If we are the oppressors, He wants us to choose differently and change, talking about mercy and justice.
So the lesson goes through Psalms 9, 82 that we already mentioned. Then in Psalm 101, we see David, who has seen what injustice and corruption do, and has decided that he will stand up for what is right. He will be a leader in his place of influence, and he will not be silent. He will not tolerate injustice.
Now, Psalm 146 describes God in an active role of judge, provider, liberator, healer, helper, and defender. Let's hear it. He is the maker of the heaven and earth. He upholds the cause of the oppressed and gives food to the hungry. The Lord sets prisoners free. The Lord gives sight to the blind. The Lord lifts up those who are bound down. The Lord loves the righteous. The Lord watches over the foreigner and sustains the fatherless and the widow. But He frustrates the ways of the wicked. What the lesson does next is very straightforward and revealing. Many people search for God and they want to build a close relationship with Him. Yet Psalm 146 tells us that the secret of building a close relationship with God is to join in with what He does. Lift up the poor, the sick, and the oppressed. And sometimes we forget that it is that simple walking side by side with Jesus.
And this is the key point for me here in this lesson. It's not about us doing good deeds, charitable deeds, caring deeds. It's about walking with Jesus. This is what he does. He cares and he's serving people. And if our walk of faith is really with him, we will be there where he is. Moving through the emotions and spiritual experiences of Psalms, the lesson then looks briefly at the book of Proverbs and the variety of practical wisdom on all kinds of family and civil issues. Reflections on poverty, riches, contentment, justice and injustice. We are not just spectators, and the choices that we make, what we do or don't do, matters.
At the end, we can conclude that our God is one who cares about those who are in need and are vulnerable. But when and how he's going to intervene, we don't know. We, though, as Christians, are also his agents of mercy and justice. And choosing so does not bring us riches or more rewards and material gains. What we get is summarized in Proverbs 16:8. Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice.
If we live in our own bubble, where things are probably not so bad, it may be good to step out of our comfort zone and see and feel the struggles that those who are in need experiences. We probably don't have to look too far. Mercy and justice was the theme this week, and they mean a lot more when felt with and cried by the heart.
We will continue next week our journey with the lesson, the cry of the prophets.